Emotional attachment is one of the strongest forces shaping our lives. It connects us to people, memories, and illusions that often no longer benefit us, or sometimes even harm us. Carl Jung taught that attachment is not simply an emotional tie. It is actually a projection of our inner psyche. We don't hold on to others because we truly need them, but because they reflect unconscious parts of ourselves. When we cannot let go of someone who doesn't love us, what we are really doing is rejecting a part of our own identity. Jung discovered that the human psyche has many layers, with much of it hidden in the shadow. This shadow holds our repressed feelings, desires, and past wounds. It is this shadow that causes us to cling to relationships that fail to support us. At the core, it isn't the other person who keeps us tied, but the parts of ourselves we project onto them. Loving someone who doesn't love us back means we are actually seeking outside validation for something we haven't yet found within ourselves. This is the trap of attachment. It convinces us that our happiness depends on another person, while in truth, what we seek is the integration of our own psyche. Therefore, letting go of someone who doesn't love us is not just detachment. It's a deep process of self-discovery. It's not about forgetting them or suppressing the pain, but about understanding why that connection mattered so much. Jung said that what we deny inside ourselves shows up in our lives as fate. If we keep ending up in one-sided relationships, it's no accident. It reveals something deeper, a lesson our psyche is trying to teach us. This may come from a childhood wound, a fear of being alone, or a limiting belief about our worth. Until we face that shadow, we will attract the same patterns repeatedly. Jung's approach to emotional detachment involves 3 key steps. First, recognize the projection. Ask yourself, what part of me am I seeing in this person? Maybe you admire their confidence, independence, or passion. Instead of viewing these traits as external, Jung encourages you to integrate them within yourself. If you're attached to someone because you admire their self-assurance, perhaps it's time to develop your own. Second, confront the shadow. Jung emphasized that what we avoid inside ourselves becomes our fate. If you often feel undervalued in relationships, there may be a part of you that believes you don't deserve better. This belief might come from a childhood experience, a distant parent, or a past hurt, but the past doesn't have to define you. Real change happens when you choose to heal those wounds yourself instead of waiting for someone else. Third, embrace individuation. Jung described individuation as becoming your true self beyond others' expectations. It requires releasing anything that doesn't align with your essence. Part of this is letting go of people who don't reciprocate your love, not because you're unworthy, but because your paths simply differ. Trying to force a connection where it doesn't fit is like forcing a puzzle piece into the wrong place. Individuation means understanding that some people are in our lives only temporarily, serving as teachers for the lessons we need. True detachment is not cold or indifferent. It is deep understanding. You come to realize that another person is not your source of happiness, but a mirror reflecting what you need to integrate within yourself. True love isn't about dependence. It's about freedom. Letting go isn't losing. It's creating space for something that better fits who you really are. Many fear the emptiness that comes with detachment, but Jung taught that emptiness is not to be feared. It is a sacred space where new growth can begin. When you release relationships that don't truly belong to you, you open yourself to something greater. The universe can't bring something new while you hold on to the old. It is in this emptiness that true transformation happens. You rediscover yourself, not as someone seeking completion through others, but as someone already whole. And then, something remarkable occurs. When you stop searching for love outside yourself, you begin to radiate love from within. You no longer need external approval because you recognize your own value. You stop clinging to one-sided relationships because you prioritize your peace over exhausting efforts to be seen. At that moment, the right people enter your life, those who love you for who you truly are, not for what you provide or how you fit into their story. Emotional detachment doesn't mean stopping love. It means learning to love without fear, expectations, or restrictions. It is understanding that love is freedom, not possession. When you grasp this, you realize you never truly lost anything. You only released what was never truly yours. Jung's idea of psychic transformation isn't a surface change, but a deep metamorphosis. Letting go is not just ending a relationship. It is becoming a new, more conscious, stronger, and more authentic version of yourself. This process requires courage, patience, and self-compassion, but the result is worth it, because when you dare to release what doesn't belong to you, you find something far more valuable, yourself. As you let go, you realize attachment was never true love. It was fear of loneliness, fear of not being enough, fear of losing something that wasn't yours. Jung teaches that fear is an illusion, a barrier blocking our true potential. When you face that fear and look beyond it, something shifts. You see solitude not as punishment, but as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. You recognize that absence doesn't create a void, but space for better things to come. Attachment makes us dependent on something outside ourselves for wholeness. When that external source disappears, we feel incomplete. But Jung reminds us that nothing outside can give us what we truly seek. All we need, peace, love, security, happiness, already exists within. When you truly feel this, detachment becomes natural, not a struggle. Letting go doesn't mean erasing memories or denying feelings. It means accepting what was, learning its lesson, and moving forward. Jung said the unconscious communicates through symbols and experiences, and every relationship reflects something deeper within us. Everyone who enters our life brings meaning, a lesson, a mirror of our inner world. If someone comes and then leaves, it's not a mistake or loss, but an experience meant to teach us something essential, what we truly want, what boundaries we must protect, or which shadow aspects we need to face for growth. Once the lesson is learned, there is no reason to stay chained to the past. The problem arises when we get stuck in pain, nostalgia, or endless what-ifs. Jung reminds us the past can't be changed, only understood. Understanding frees us. There is no greater act of self-love than releasing what no longer fits, because in doing so, you choose yourself. You declare to the universe that you deserve growth, peace, and ease, not struggle or force. Your mind will resist, telling you that you can't let go, that you need that person, and that life won't be the same without them. But ask yourself, do you feel love or dependence? Love does not hurt, diminish, or trap you in endless waiting. If it causes pain, it reveals a wound still needing healing, and that healing can only come from within. When you decide to let go, you see life from a new angle. You understand people don't arrive randomly. They reflect parts of you. When a relationship ends, it's not the end but the start of a new chapter. To truly begin again, you must close the previous chapter, not with resentment or sorrow, but with gratitude. Gratitude for what was, what you learned, and how you grew. Every person who crosses your path leaves something behind, even if it's just a lesson in what you no longer want to repeat. True freedom is not about having no attachments. It's about loving without possession, giving without expectation, and being present without dependence. It's knowing you can share your life without making someone else your entire world. Love is not a chain. It's a state of being. When you reach this understanding, you stop searching outside for what has always been inside. You realize the person you needed most was always yourself. There are no shortcuts or magic formulas to detachment. It's a deep transformation involving self-confrontation and questioning lifelong beliefs. But once you cross that threshold, nothing is the same. You stop suffering over what's gone and start trusting what's to come. You stop seeking love in others and begin nurturing it within. And without effort or force, the right people come. Not because you need them, but because you are whole. Detachment isn't a rejection of love. It's a higher form of it, love without fear, demands, or unrealistic hopes. It's love that frees rather than confines. It's realizing no one belongs to you, and you don't belong to anyone. When you fully understand this, you see you never truly lost anything. You're simply preparing for something far greater. When you begin to let go, your mind clings to memories, promises and moments when everything seemed perfect. This is natural, holding on to the familiar even if it brings pain. But real liberation comes when you accept that letting go is not losing. It's making room for something new, something better, something aligned with who you are becoming. And in that space, love in its purest form will always find you. Jung explained that the unconscious does not distinguish between what helps or harms us. It only repeats patterns. If you've long believed love means sacrifice or happiness depends on someone else, your mind will work hard to keep you stuck in that belief. Emotional detachment is not only about releasing a person, it's about unlearning those patterns and freeing yourself, those limiting beliefs that have shaped your life. It's not really the absence of that person that causes pain, but the story you built in your mind about what they meant to you. Maybe you believed they were your only chance for love. Maybe you thought that without that relationship, happiness was impossible, or that you'd never find someone like them again. But these are just illusions, created by a mind that hasn't yet discovered its true freedom. Attachment is not love. It's a type of emotional dependence based on the idea that something outside ourselves will complete us. But Jung teaches us that true love isn't a pursuit, it's a state of being. You cannot find outside what you haven't first nurtured within yourself. So instead of focusing on what you lost, ask yourself, what part of me needs healing? The pain doesn't come from the person who left, but from a part of your psyche that you haven't yet integrated. That emptiness, that anxiety, the fear of being alone, none of it is about the other person. It's about you. Letting go of someone who doesn't love you isn't a loss. It's an act of self-love. It's telling yourself that you deserve better, that your energy is valuable, and that you don't have to beg for anyone's affection. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending it doesn't matter. It's about accepting it as part of the healing process. Jung said, the only way to overcome suffering is to go through it. And yes, at first it hurts, because you're breaking a pattern. Your mind was used to relying on that person, but with every day, with every step you take toward growth, you get closer to your true freedom. Something powerful happens when you allow yourself to let go. It's like a heavy weight you've carried for so long begins to lift. Clarity comes, answers appear. You realize something you couldn't see before. Peace isn't in holding on, it's in letting go. In that moment, you start living from your true self, without fear, without burdens, without emotional chains tying you to the past. When you let go, you free yourself. You stop waiting for messages, analyzing every detail, wondering what you did wrong. You understand that love can't be begged for, respect can't be demanded, and connection can't be forced. Most importantly, you realize the most important person in your life has always been you. This doesn't mean you'll never love again. The next time you love, it will come from a different place. Not need, but wholeness. Not fear of loss, but confidence that everything that comes and goes is part of your growth. True detachment is an internal transformation. It's a journey where you stop being who you were and become who you were always meant to be. On this path, every tear, every moment of solitude, every fading memory is a sign of progress. It's not an easy road, but it's the only path that leads to real freedom. When you look back and see how much you've grown, you'll understand you never really lost anything. You only found yourself. When you finally let go, you see that true love was never about holding on to someone else, but about the relationship you have with yourself. You learn that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel complete. Happiness isn't found in another person, but in how you connect with your own essence. At that point, everything changes. You begin to see life from a new perspective, not from lack, but from abundance, not from fear of losing, but from trust. That what is meant for you will come at the right time. Letting go of someone who doesn't love you is one of the hardest things to do, but also one of the most freeing. It's not just about releasing a person, it's about reclaiming yourself. It's understanding that the love we seek outside can only be fully realized when we find it within. The journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because in the end, the most important relationship we'll ever have is the one with ourselves. According to Jung, true healing isn't just about letting go, it's about integration. It's not erasing memories or suppressing feelings, but accepting what happened, embracing it with gratitude, and moving forward with a new awareness. Every person who crosses your path leaves a lesson. Every ended relationship gives a chance to grow. Every painful moment signals an awakening from inside. When you understand this, anguish transforms into peace, attachment into freedom, and suffering into wisdom. This is love's great paradox. Only when you stop seeking it from a place of lack does it come to you in its purest form. When you stop searching for someone to complete you, when you no longer depend on a relationship to feel worthy, that's when you begin to attract genuine connections. These connections are built on resonance, not need. Love in these bonds is free, not a chain. Presence is a choice, not an obligation. But this kind of love can only happen when you're at peace with yourself. It comes when you've healed your past wounds and released what no longer belongs to you. This journey is hard, but it's the only one worth taking. Life isn't about clinging to what hurts you. It's about flowing with what helps you grow. It's not about living stuck in nostalgia, but opening yourself to the endless possibilities the future offers. It's not about waiting for someone else to choose you, but about choosing yourself again and again, without hesitation, fear, or guilt. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to do something simple yet powerful. Share this video with someone who needs it as much as you do. Maybe a friend who can't let go of a past love, who's trapped in attachment and still thinks their happiness depends on someone else, or someone who hasn't yet realized their own strength. When we share these ideas, we help others awaken. More souls find their path. More lives transform. Think about how many people you know who are struggling, feeling lost, weighed down by the past, unsure how to move forward. Imagine if just one message, one new perspective, helped them break free from those invisible chains. You have the power to be that catalyst for change. You can light the way for someone else. Leave a comment below and tell me what part of this message impacted you most. What did you take away? What will you do today to start your journey toward detachment and true freedom? Your words may inspire others. Your reflections might be exactly what someone needs right now. You never know whose life you could touch with your growth and healing. If you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly encourage you to do so now. Activate notifications so you don't miss new content. Together, we're building something bigger, a conscious community of people ready to grow, evolve, and live authentically. The world needs more people willing to let go of what no longer serves them, choosing freedom over fear. Today, you have the chance to be one of those people, so don't. Wait, take the first step toward your transformation. The change you seek outside has always been inside you. You are not broken. You are not incomplete. You don't need fixing. You only need to remember who you truly are, free, whole, and capable of creating the life you deserve. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for listening, sharing, and growing. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, true love begins when you learn to choose yourself first.